Well, hello there, everyone. Here to show you the Jaycee Dugard, your mother's best born. It's like your color activity right here. As you see right here, is that we hinge right here are two pictures right here of it's like it's like the daughters, and as well as for Jaycee Dugard, and knowing about you have right here it's a baby picture, and knowing about that, I'm sure that most of us, if we have like a an old picture from if it was the hospital or medical center or somewhere that the child was born, knowing that for exactly for what they look like, and for how well that they were wrapped up in their baby blanket, the snuggie blanket, and that type of stuff, and knowing it that for the most part is that that way hinge right here is a picture right here of, like I say, for Jaycee Dugard, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, the way I went and drew this, I was like, yeah, I guess all right, close enough to where from the face and the hair as well, and I'm like that I only had maybe a few ideas to work with for, like I say, what you say for young Jaycee Dugard, that whenever she would have been about maybe about maybe about a week old, something like that, for like a newborn. And for most of us, if most of us were to kind of look back and say our own baby pictures, and just thinking about, I'm like, exactly about how much whenever I was born, about how much did I weigh, that type of stuff. If it was that well, Jaycee Dugard, that she might have been, according to her book, is that she may have weighed about, I would say on average about, I would, about 5 pounds and maybe 20 ounces, something like that, maybe 6 pounds and 17 ounces, at the most. But anyway, that you see right here is that that like with say with baby Jaycee Dugard, and knowing for a lot of the activity that of course I work manage on Photoshop, especially that it's like for the sequels, knowing that that you see right here is that that like from a mother's best, and then of course from grandmother's best, and then as well as for the mother's best born, is talking about is like for most moms that to be looking after their children, and knowing for how that they grow up, is that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that for the sad story of knowing about from whenever they were taken, or that misplaced, or abandoned, that anything like any situation like that. But also on your hand, knowing about, like, say for the love charm, and you have right here, I'll go ahead and draw here as an example right here. I say of like a rocking chair, and knowing about, I'm like, that for like for the mother's best born is basically that you have right here. I'll go ahead and draw here is like that for mother and daughter, type of look right here, and you have right here is like the mom right here, the mom, and then as well as for young Jaycee Dugard, and basically that this activity right here is talking about, say, with baby pictures. And whenever I'm working like on a program like on Photoshop, is that knowing for anything that I can working with, and just thinking about, I'm like, you have right here is that the mother, the baby Jaycee Dugard, it's like in the mother's arms. But other than that, see right here, go ahead and draw this right here. It's like if baby Jaycee Dugard were to be in the mother's arms right here. But yeah, if I can remember right in the book, that I don't think that it mentioned in the book, that I know of about for how much the baby Jaycee Dugard weighed. But I would probably say on average though that about maybe 6 pounds and 18 ounces, or 6 pounds and 20 ounces, something like that. But other than that, knowing about, I'm like, you have right here is like a rocking chair, and go ahead and draw the mom, with the with baby Jaycee Dugard, and then you have right here is some some example ideas of for what baby Jaycee Dugard would look like whenever she was much younger, at birth, and you have right here is the mom would have been sitting down about here, and then as well as the moon right here. I'm like with the moon right here. See here, right here at the moon. you got right here is the moon. But it's like, so far as like an, I see the moon and the moon sees me, and then God bless the moon and God bless me, and work right here was with the pen. But anyway, I'll go ahead and add some stars as well. Mike, you say that, that I like to see that, to where, especially like a night light, to where you like to see stars. Of course, a few stars in the background. And let's say, the way I went and drew this was like supposed to be an example right here of a rocking chair. So I guess like a rocking chair. That looks kind of, about how big. If there was like a sofa at about right here, if I want to go ahead and draw, like, say, like a sofa example right there of a sofa right there, and then the baby in the mother's arms. But anyway, you got right there, and then right here is for baby Jaycee Dugard, and knowing about exactly about the way I went and drew this right here is like for Jaycee Dugard, is it talking about, it's like with the pine cone charm, and then you have right here is like like example right here of the fairy. I've seen in the book that if she may have dressed up as a fairy for Halloween at some point, that type of stuff, but knowing about for being wrapped up in a baby blanket, as well as knowing about it's like for whenever the baby sleeps, is we may wonder that whenever we're babies, is that a lot of times if a snuggle blanket is usually a lot of times what most babies like, is that if it keeps them warm, or if it, if they have that feeling to where that it keeps them protected. And I keep thinking that knowing about that anything that we may think about that we want to do later on in life, such as going to college, and then knowing about anything that we want to set our passions forth, such as it's like if we want to learn how to be a singer, or act, if we want to go ahead, be a book writer, somebody like that, and just thinking about that with anything that we do in life, and knowing about, I keep thinking about that with artwork, is knowing about anything that we may made, or anything that we thought of, or anything like that, is knowing about that the type of work, such as that maybe anything that's handwritten, or if it was if it was anything that was made by somebody special, such as a bow, or if it was a ribbon, or maybe necklace, or something like that. And just thinking about that whenever I'm to the points to where I get real stressed out over something during a rough day or something like that, and a lot of times I keep thinking about, it's like having a baby blanket. It's like a kind of have the thought to where that I would go into more to where that be to where anything that more likely that I do and work is knowing about, that you think about something, and then it just seems like that you picture it in your mind, and then it's like it's not it won't go away, but then on the other hand too, it won't hurt you as well, as knowing about colors for which that are designed by that particular person that means a lot to you, that type of stuff. And of course by our own work, is knowing about that for young Jaycee Dugard, is that I don't know if and maybe that she may not have one or two baby pictures, and especially that like Photoshop program, that knowing about if she were to back then back in early 1980 and 1981, they would have had it to where that the parents would be able to position the camera, and then knowing to take a picture, and it'd be like a smile for the camera, Angels. But other than that, talking about is for Jaycee Dugard. And the way I went and drew this right here is that drew right here is a blue rise right here. But knowing about for the work that I do on Photoshop, especially, that knowing about the things that that I have worked with my baby pictures, and as well as other things artistic, is that for what I was able to manage as well. But right there is the pine cone charm. But Other than that, you have right here is like for Jaycee Dugard, for Jaycee Lee Dugard, and we had right there for like sample right here for typograph, and basically knowing about, I'm like, yeah, the type of wording that I'm basically learning in college English. But other than that, for the typographic type works, that it's managed on the programs. And but on your hand, that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that we wonder that a lot of times it's like, anybody that you think that more likely that one of these days, if a child that goes missing, and just warning about who will be worried about them if one of these days, if they wind up going missing at some point. And just thinking about, I'm like, yeah, that had those moments to where that you get in a fight with somebody, and then it just seems like that at the time that the fight gets to be at the situation, and to where that you say the people say such and such, and almost like that they want you erased out of the picture, that type of stuff. And in a lot of ways, that I'm like, well, that's not necessarily true. Is knowing that whenever you get mad, that you may say stuff, and just knowing about, I'm like, really about the whole part about the about the love situation, is that it's like for between mother and daughter, is knowing that I don't think that more likely that there was any type of fights. But let's just say that on average, though, that knowing about, I'm like, during the story about, is like if there was a kid that was kidnapped or may have ran away or at some point or anything like that, and just thinking about really that somebody that that really cares about you, that type of feeling, and knowing about that any situation to where that they say life is go through a lot of hectic in life, and especially that for a lot of stuff, a lot of depression that goes on too, and also it's like knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that with the baby pictures, whenever I look at my own baby pictures, I keep thinking about, I'm like, yeah, exactly, that this is what I look like back then, back in from the year I was born. And I keep thinking about, I'm like, yeah, that it's nice to have that picture, because knowing about that day from whenever I was born, and then that I'm able to work with it on Photoshop and that type of stuff, and knowing about exactly about that for back then that I did not have all that I had facial hair, but it's like that there was that I like wondering about the outfit that I was wearing, and of course the baby blankets as well. But if we were to look at our own baby pictures and just thinking about anything that you have a real strong passion for, is that knowing about, I'm like, really, if there's any clues inside the baby picture for exactly about what led you to what you want to do for your career, that type of stuff. So it's like whenever looking at this work right here and reading the book as well, and just thinking about for young Jaycee Dugard, it's like knowing about from whenever she was born, and when she was kidnapped, and when she was found, and just thinking about, I'm like, yeah, that you have right here is a drawing right here of the youngest. And but with most of these baby pictures, and just thinking about that they may say that a lot of that stuff that they say that some of that stuff is kept private, but then some stuff that I of course about pictures of me whenever I was much younger, compared to, like I say, for Jaycee Dugard, is knowing about, I'm sure that there may have been a few things that she may have been able to keep and still have, and as well as the things that she wanted to share too, and any pictures that she wanted to share as well. But on the other hand, I would not know if this would more likely even look even close to what Jaycee Lee Dugard looks like. But then on average, that just add right here is like a little bit of blue right here for the face. But on the other hand, that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, if I were to go ahead and draw right here as an example for what that Jaycee Lee Dugard looks like whenever she was a baby, and just thinking about, I'm like, yeah, look at the baby pictures, and what do you think about that? You get a baby picture, you collect a baby picture and something to keep maybe in like her portfolio, and just thinking about, I'm like, yeah, that how well the parents raised the kids, and thinking about from whenever those kids and then they have kids is considered the grandchildren, and it's like, yeah, that for it's like, best of luck. It's like if they, want to go to school and they get a teaching job or something like that, and just think about, for anything that they want to do in life. But on your hand, that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that they say that, if there's anything more that could be done with the baby picture besides, it's like that, this picture right here, that, if, and you say that, yeah, if in the baby picture, if Jaycee Lee Dugard, if it's possible that she could have been, winking at the camera, or maybe sticking her tongue out at the camera or something like that, or if there was any pictures taken, at all, from it, their time of birth. But on the hand, that knowing about, like, this right here is an example right here, as I went ahead and worked right here of what Jaycee Lee Dugard, more like would look like, and knowing about that, using right here is the blue, and then along with the pink, marker, and I'm like, yeah, that there was only so much information, of course, that I knew about the whole purpose about, it's like, for what the pictures, look like, based, from the book, and knowing about, I'm like, for what the young Jaycee Lee Dugard, looks like, from whenever she was a baby, and then, from whenever she was 35, but on your hand, that knowing about, I'm like, for like, so far as, thoughts, and, for honors, is knowing about, I'm like, yeah, from whenever she was, lost and found, but then on your hand, that, with the baby pictures, though, that, the way I think about, though, is like, if we're going to be putting together maybe a portfolio, maybe for the future education, and then people may think about, I'm like, they look back at the the baby picture and just thinking about, I'm like, really, is that you? Well, why were you wearing a bow tie on the top, or why is it that why is it that was your favorite color always pink, or always pinklets or something like that, pink maroon, or like, why were you wrapped up in a bubble purple pink dress or something? But on the other hand, that knowing about, I'm like, the artwork that, of course, I put together right here, is that I went ahead and showed right here as an example right here of, like, for young Jaycee Dugard, and then you have right here is like talking about, I'm like, yeah, that kind of reminds me of, like, I usually think about is that, whenever I think about, my artwork, something that I've been good at, like with Jaycee Dugard, that she may look at maybe, some of her writing skills as, something that's very, meaningful, and thinking about, I'm like, yeah, that, you think about that, and then, whenever you think about it, just thinking about it. It's like that it's going to be, it's going to be there, to guide you through in life, especially that, for if it's anything that's related to professional work or anything like that, and as well as knowing about that the whole purpose about for the understanding about the book of, like, for a stolen life. But other than that, like I talk about here, the day of birth right here for May the 3rd of 1980, and they say that there may be only so much information that could have been released back those couple of years ago, back in on May the 3rd of 1980. But then on the other hand too, that it's like, just for, like, say, for the idea of knowing about, I'm like, for young Jaycee Lee Dugard, it's like, for Mother's Best Born, it's like, from how that she grew up, and knowing about, deciding to write a book, about, it's like about her childhood, and knowing it's like, for how she's doing so far, and knowing about here is like, so first, the mother's best, mother's best born, and knowing about for most babies, for whenever they were born, and that knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that whenever I look at my own baby picture, like I mentioned before, is that I keep thinking about, well, really, is that the parents' job? Should the parents, should the doctors or whoever be doing that, to where they collect the baby photo and then they go ahead and publish it in a brochure, in a portfolio, and they start talking about their education, that type of stuff, and knowing about that, it's like for young Jaycee Dugard, and knowing about for how she survived, and as well other things that you want to talk about, say, for the rainbow art. But other than that, I talk about, say, for Jaycee Lee Dugard, and talk about right here for the Mother's Best Born. It's like for 2015. So far as for Mother's Best Born, it's like top, say, color activity. I'm just knowing about, like, if we were to be thinking about something, such as maybe an autograph, or maybe if it's, anything related to, like, maybe a picture, of something that that we all remember about some event, if it's with a cousin or with a brother or sister, or maybe the parents or anybody like that, is knowing about. I'm like, yeah, something that you were. A fun time or something like that, maybe whenever you were a baby, that knowing about something that maybe somewhere, in the park or somewhere like that, to where that you remember and knowing about. I'm like, yeah, that one thing I usually, would say is that with the work of art that I keep thinking about. I'm like, yeah, and as I can say for Jaycee Dugard, is knowing about. I'm like, that, for, anything that more likely that's managed, by that particular person, and just knowing about. I'm like, yeah, that for, if it's going to be, planted flowers, or if it's going to be homemade dress, skirts or anything like that, or anything that's related to maybe a secret, journal, if it was a journal or diary, anything like that. And thinking about. I'm like, for the most part, is that anything that more likely that's made by that particular person, and then knowing about. I'm like, yeah, that for if it's, especially if it's a blanket, for like a baby blanket, is that I can remember. I'm like, for what I mentioned, from the other video, is knowing about. I'm like, that, yeah, that whenever I come into that point in situation to where that I get real, stressed out and overworked by something, I keep thinking about. I'm like, be, to where I would sit down, and in a picture, I would think about being wrapped up in a blanket, and just thinking about anything that such as maybe color art or anything like that, just to calm me down, and knowing about. I'm like, yeah, that you may see it anywhere that you look, that you keep thinking about, and you keep thinking about maybe something that you made by hand or something like that, something that that you think about, and then you picture it all around you, such as maybe a garden, a grow of flowers or anything like that, that we may have planted, or that Jaycee may have planted, and as well as any journals or anything like that, anything that she may have done in her spare time. And the way I think about, though, that anything that I would have managed and worked, and just thinking about, it's about, it's around you, and near you. It seems like it's around us at all times, but then of course it's not going to hurt. It won't hurt anything, and it's not going to hurt you, and then it shouldn't hurt you, and as well as it's supposed to guide you for wherever that that we want to take our passions for, such as if it's going to be aiming for our goals, the goals that we aim for, for the future, is that if it's going to college, or if it's getting a degree, or something such as writing a book, that type of stuff. But on the hand too, to know about, say, for the mother's best born, it's like I say 2015 color activity.